hike. Third wave of fuel increase may happen if Fedora Amobi. It is no longer news that since the fuel price increased, Nigerians have been complaining and suffering of high cost of living. Everything has literally increased, including food and transportation. Ifedora Amobi was live on Arise News Television and he spoke about the cost of living crisis in Nigeria. According to Arise News, Ifedora Amobi talked about how Nigerians are suffering and how families are going through a series of adjustments. He also said families are cutting down their budgets because of the current situation of Nigeria. He went further to say that by September, it will be very devastating because the price of food and transport and other essential commodities will be expensive. According to Arise News, Ifedora Amobi said it is not easy on Nigerians, and he also saw a report this morning that we should look out for another fuel price increase soon. He also said that a third wave of fuel increase has been predicted, and the prediction could be of an increase in transport cost, war in Ukraine. According to Arise News, he advised Nigerians to tighten their belts. Interesting. Tighten their belts for how long? Tighten their belts how? Right? Because I don't think there would ever be an unbearable point for Nigerians unless they were sold into slavery. Because I think what the government has done over the years is, one, to get worse, but to get worse little by little. And so because it's a slow, in a way, kind of rapid decline, it's easier for Nigerians to accept, because things can progressively get worse. And, it might be that if fuel could literally go up to 1,000 naira per litre, it is not impossible. Look at the pound to the naira, right? 1 pound is 1,000 naira. And at some point that ever happening looked ridiculous. And wait, what? That is so far that can't happen. And look at where we are now. So if things are progressively going to get worse, eventually Nigerians have been conditioned to accept regardless, because the level of impunity, corruption, hopelessness, oppression, and injustice makes it so that Nigerians feel they have no power to actually change the country. And there's a heavy reliance on who we put there, right? But then, is there a reliance on who we put there? Because, whatever the case may be, the system has built itself up to be corrupt. And so if you want a different outcome, I just think we need to dismantle the country and start again. APC is a calamity every nation should pray against. It's funny because, things were declining regardless with the PDP, but with the APC coming in, it was a rapid decline. And I think for that, Nigerians are calling them the worst government because they did badly too fast, right? Which is not good regardless, but the drastic change basically came when APC came into office, and so Nigerians are associating all the bad things to them, well, majorly to them, because things just got too bad for our liking. Because that's what it is. Because if it was a slow decline, then we would have gotten used to it, but APC came and just boom. So what could have taken them basically 8 years to do, they did in 4 years. Because I personally think the 2019 election was a sham, and 2015 to 2019 was enough for Nigerians to have known not to let Buhari or APC stay in office. But I think that's one of the big mistakes that we made. Suffering in phases, the inevitable. Exactly. I think of all the comments here, because everyone is just complaining and shouting, of all the comments here, that's the most accurate. Suffering in phases, the inevitable. You're going to, regardless, have to suffer. It's just your government that can turn up the heat when they want, that will make it unbearable for you. But regardless, Nigeria has made itself that its citizens will always suffer. We heard someone says they are still going up to 1,000 naira. See, I already said that. it's not impossible, it's not unlikely. So that's why when, this individual, Ifedora Amobi, says to tighten our belts, the question is for when and for how long? Because he's coming from a point where, just tighten your belts for this season. But what if that tightening of belts become the norm? Because that's what Nigerians have been doing. We've literally just all been surviving whilst the value of our currency, value of living, all the standards literally go down and decline. And we get used to it. That in itself, that is crazy. It doesn't make sense. But if you look at how Nigerians sort of, I don't know if Nigerians are really doing anything, but then you look at what is going on right now. We have so many distractions, and you would think that people who are so engaged in the election will be engaged in post-elections where they didn't get what they wanted, but they're just saying, you know what, we'll go to the courts. Because I personally think that courts thing is not going to do anything for Nigerians at all. The person you're basically fighting against, not fighting against, but the person or the party you are sort of arguing against is already in office, and their principal, the president, has settled in, appointed chief of staff. They've done everything, and they're also representing Nigeria outside. On Twitter right now, hashtag Tinubu must be disqualified is on, and now it's just definitely all talk, but I think there has to be a bit of intentionality and intensity to how these conversations go, because if it's not serious enough, then we're not going to do anything about it. But put what you think in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.